Hey guys, it's me, Danny here. Today I was wanting to talk about the pros and cons of getting a CDL, or certified, it might be certified driver's license, regular driver's license certified, but this is like, big deal. In case you don't know, there are three different types of CDL. You got Class A, which is going to be mostly used for like your tractor trailer, semis and trailers. You're going to have your Class B, which I think is mostly just like regulated to buses and stuff like that, and Class C. I think Class C might just be regular driver's license or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I could be very wrong. It's been a while since I've looked up like the classes and stuff like that. But that's not really what I was wanting to get into. What I was wanting to talk about is the pros and cons of being a truck driver, or whether it be OTR or regional or whatever, dedicated. You can even do that too. The biggest pro that you will get with a lot of companies after you get your CDL is that you're going to be making a lot of money. There's always one of the good things about having a Class A CDL is that you will always have like a job opportunity somewhere, even if it's not for a Class A job. Because if you have a Class A, you're able to do any other type of like CDL jobs. If you have a Class A and you were like, okay, I'm tired of being like a trucker, I want to do something local or something like that. Say if it requires like a Class B or something like that, you're good. If you have a Class A, you are more than prove yourself to like, okay, yeah, I can do this. This is super easy. But yeah, your biggest pro with it, you're gonna be able to make a lot of money. I don't. Sorry, there's a dead skunk over here. Yeah, you're gonna be making a lot of money. I can't guarantee you how much money you're gonna be making, because obviously that depends on the company. It really does. Some companies are going to pay you more for your starting mile. Others not so much. I think like the average, it's between like 30 to 40 cents per mile, depending on like where you go and how much experience you have. If you have no experience, I wouldn't expect like a huge amount of money right off the bat. But again, depends on where you go. Another pro, depending on what type of job you're doing, whether you're being OTR, Midwest Regional, Mid-East Regional, or anything like that, you will be able to go out and travel and be able to see like different parts. Whenever I first started, I was OTR for Maverick, and that was pretty much from like the center of the U.S., starting from like I think the furthest up north with them as far as like, center, north, South Dakota, Kansas, that part right there. Furthest I went with them on that part would have been Nebraska, maybe Kansas. I don't think I went with Nebraska in there, or whenever I was with them. But for the most part, it was usually the north and northeast with them, and that is a con. And I will get into why going into the northeast is a pain in the ass here in a little bit. But yeah, usually if you're OTR, you will be staying from Central all the way to the East Coast, because that's usually where all the freight is. That's where all your trucking companies and stuff are, all the warehouses and stuff like that. That's where product is. That's usually where you're going to stay at for the most part. So yeah, you get money and you get to travel, and you have a guaranteed job no matter where you go if you get a CDL. Now, with that, there are certain restrictions, like you can't go to a job where you have to carry hazardous chemicals without a hazmat endorsement. Most companies will give you like 90 days to get one, to get a hazmat endorsement on your CDL. But that's going through like all the paperwork and stuff like that. If you were going to go to a company that exclusively does hazmat material, makes sense, go ahead and just get you a hazmat endorsement on your CDL. I don't think to test that in itself is hard, at least the written part, but I've never taken it, so I don't quote me on you'll spend a huge amount of time at home. Again, it depends on where you go. If you're going to do RT or OTR, you might as well forget it. Because, like I said on another video, whenever I was with Maverick, I was out 2 months at a time and home only a week. Some people like that for the first 6 months. It was okay, but after that, it was getting rough. It really was. So if you are okay with being out for an extended period of time, great, you do you. Now with some companies, especially if you go through a company to get your CDL, they will have like a set requirement for you to be with them for however long. Some companies will want you to stay with them for 6 months to a year. I know some companies want you to stay with them for 2 years now. If you want to get your CDL through a company, I recommend going with Swift. Even though they're not a good company by any means of the word, you will be able to get your CDL through them fairly easily, and you'll be able just to have it. So whenever your 6 months are up, if you like being with Swift, go right ahead and keep on rolling with them. If not, no harm done. Just from what I've heard, what I've heard, they are not a good company. Another con, as you probably can already tell, I am a fairly big dude. And that is because it is really hard to eat healthy out here. You do have some options, but they're very limited. A lot of places, mostly Love's truck stops, you'll be able to go inside and get you a sandwich at Subway. And that's fairly decent, but sometimes you get tired of eating just sandwiches. But there are some places, or most truck stops, I'll put it this way, have like these little cup of fruits things that you can't eat. So you do have healthy options out there. But at the same time, if you go to like a Pilot, Flying J, Petro, TA, or stuff like that, more often than not, they're going to have that freshly made pizza sitting out there just being like, hey, come here, we want you to eat this. So yeah, it's going to be really hard to lose weight. You will gain a lot. I know I have. There are ways of like trying to be healthy and stuff like that. It's very hard to. It's not impossible by any means, but it is hard to do. I guess let me try to think if there's any, because that's like the two big cons. Like hardly ever being at home, and it's really hard to stay healthy. There are other stuff too, but they're kind of like minor stuff. Now there is one other big con, and that's the Northeast, out there in like New York, New Jersey, and that stuff. I'm sure they're fine states as it is, but it is a pain in the ass to drive through them in a semi. New Jersey was the only place I kind of got into like a little wreck, and it wasn't even a wreck. I was trying to pull out of a dog door, but it was a super small area, and it was either hit the truck right next to me or hit the metal pole to my right, and I chose to hit the metal pole because there's just no other way to get out. That's New Jersey and New York are going to be your worst places to go through. Atlanta, it's kind of bad, but honestly, I'd much rather go through Atlanta any time of the day. Sorry about that. Sometimes you get tongue twisted. But yeah, Atlanta, it's a pain, but it's not the worst. I'd rather go through Atlanta any time of the day. Another terrible place that's not fun to go through, Pennsylvania. It's so rough out there. Like the roads are rough, and you might have to go through like one of these places that are super tight, and you got to make a delivery at one place, and it's like, I don't know if I'm technically supposed to be there, but you have to be there, and you got to block traffic just to try to back in, and it's like, no, I can't back in, and then it's like, well, I can't turn around, so now I have to kind of be here, and nearly cause a wreck and several $100s worth of property damage. So just a heads up, if they ever try sending you to like Pittsburgh and you gotta pick up like some yeast and stuff, that shit sucks. So Yeah, that's another big con. You will be going through some tight areas, especially if you are refrigerated. Refrigerated, definitely. You'll be going through some tight areas, and it's like, I don't know if I'm even supposed to be back here. But that's the way they will want you to go. That is the biggest thing about reefer unit, or pulling a reefer, that I hated. Right now, I'm currently doing dry van, and I haven't really ran into that problem. Maybe twice, but they weren't nearly as bad as what it was up in New Jersey and stuff like that. Sorry about that. But those are like the big pros and cons of it. I highly recommend getting a CDL, just a little bit more than going to college. Just because with the CDL, you can pay that off very quickly. If you want to go to like a trucking school or with a company that will pay for it. I don't know how much a trucking school actually costs, so I'm not going to give you like any false numbers or anything like that, because quite frankly, I don't know. I didn't have to pay for it. My company that I went through did it at the time. So what I would do is try to find you a company to go with that's willing to pay for it. And that's why I said earlier, go with Swift. Even though they're not a good company by any means, they will get you in the door and get you your CDL really easily. And you don't have to stay with them. Actually, you don't even have to stay with any company unless you really like them. But at least give every company at 6 months. 6 months to really get like a good feel of how things kind of work with a company. But I think that's all that I wanted to add to this video. Just my general thoughts of the pros and cons of trucking. I'm sure there are plenty more that I'll think of after I stop the recording and be like, oh yeah, I should have added that. So I might add like a part 2 later on down the line. But as it stands right now, this is kind of the general idea as to what I wanted to say in the video. So I think we'll go ahead and end it here. And if it is your birthday today while you're watching, have a wonderful day. If it's not your birthday, have a wonderful day. If you're not having a wonderful day already, I'm very sorry. I hope it gets better for you soon. I don't know what might be going on, but things always work out in the end. Okay? Thank you. Have a good day.